So, I wanted to have a think today about the importance of good friendships and why we need our friendships so much, even at times when maybe we don't think we do. I was asking people to give me ideas about things to talk about, and a couple of people have mentioned about the importance of making sure that you don't lose your friendships or lose sight of your friendships when you're in a relationship. Now, this can be for a couple of reasons, and I think the two people that have messaged me have actually both from different have had different experiences themselves. One of them had a boyfriend who was quite possessive, struggling with mental health problems, and the other one was just at the beginning of the relationship was really happy and just didn't really want to go out that much. And what happens in those kinds of situations is that you can find yourself slightly out on a limb if and when things start to go a little bit pear-shaped with your partner. Now, at the beginning of a relationship, we're in love. All the happy hormones are all kicking around, and it all feels very wonderful. And maybe we don't always prioritise our friendships as much as we could do or should do. But I think it's vital, to be honest with you, to make sure that you maintain those friendships no matter what. And there are so many different reasons for that. And it's not to consider that all relationships turn sour and that you need help and advice, although that's definitely the case in a lot of relationships, not all relationships, obviously. But it's also about making sure that you are keeping hold of a part of you. Being in a relationship is wonderful, but being you is also wonderful and is something that you really do at times need to work hard to keep hold of. Our friends can provide us with so much and can really help us to keep firm on who we are and the person that we have become and the people that we surround ourselves with. Having support and encouragement from our friends, I want to say girlfriends, but I mean, any of our friendship circle is so important because it keeps us real. And if we need that encouragement or support, I mean, a good friend will always be there for you no matter what. Even if you have been a little bit rubbish at being a friend yourself, or because, life just gets in the way. I mean, that's the reality, is that life gets in the way. It's just what happens. But making sure that you maintain good friendships, even if it's just by text for a while, is really important. Knowing that you've got someone to turn to, or a few people to turn to get a little bit of advice or just to offload. I mean, sometimes, getting relationship advice from your girlfriends isn't always the best thing to be doing. Getting relationship advice, if your friends or family don't like your partner, or really like your partner, can be tricky because it's biased. But there are so many aspects in our life where we need to offload. We need to be able to have a laugh. We need to be able to get advice, whatever it is. And we can't do that if we don't nurture our friendships along the way. And also, having a good friendship is good for your self-esteem. It's good for your self-worth and your confidence, knowing that your friends are there for you and have got your back no matter what, is absolutely invaluable. It's completely priceless. And being able to know that you've got people who you can trust in whatever the situation or circumstance, You can't put a price on it. I mean, I make absolutely no secret of this. I absolutely adore my husband. I love him to pieces, but I value my friendships as much as I do him. Like, he's my forever, but my girlfriends are also my forever, and I life just wouldn't be the same if I weren't able to rely on them. I wouldn't say that I've got one person that I would go to all of this. Well, I've got one person that I would go to all of the time, but I've got lots of different friends for lots of different, that we hang out in different crowds and we do different things. And, that's absolutely, that's what makes it so rich and so exciting, is the variety. And that's absolutely priceless. I've got friends that, our children are best friends together. Got friends that I go out and eat with and drink with, exercise with, encourage business wise. I mean, the variety is so rich. But it's not about having loads of friends. It's just about having one or two really good friends that you can rely on, to have your back. And having your back is something that's really important. Not that your relationship won't have your back, not that your partner won't have your back, but it's just, I think it's different when it's a solid friendship too. And some relationships do turn sour. They do fall apart, or they just go through really difficult patches. And so to be able to have somebody that you can talk to about that and not feel like you're managing it on your own is really good for your soul. As I said, to help you feel like you're worthy of having that good friendship, like you've got good self-esteem. Another thing to think about, which I've talked about in previous videos before, is also, it kind of ties in, it's a bit different, but it ties in, is talking about the 5 people who are your main influencers. And this is a really interesting one, because when we talk about, so when I've talked previously about the 5 people as your influencers, I talk about your influencers in your tribe. So your tribe are the people that you choose to hang around with, the people who you all encourage each other and support each other, and you feed off each other. Your energy feeds off each other and you mirror each other. And this is why it's so careful. You need to be so careful who is in your immediate circle, because if they're good and they've got good energy and they're positive and they're encouraging, then that's absolutely fantastic. But if you've got people in your circle who are negative, and are either depressing or pulling you down in whatever way at all, then that equally feeds off you. That's part of the dynamic. And that won't necessarily be friends, that could be family, that could be people in your workplace, that could just be somebody that you spend a lot of time with by default, but isn't easy to kind of like break that habit from. But it's important to consider that, because when I think about, some of my closest friends, my friendship circle is pretty diverse, to be honest with you, like really quite diverse. But we all encourage each other in different ways, and that support can come either in terms of lifestyle, exercise, business, family, relationships. We all feed off each other, and even though they are all separate, they influence me greatly and keep me the person that I want to be. So being aware of that, and doing your best wherever possible to make sure that the people that are influencing you are the right people, because we don't want the wrong kind of energy around us, and having people that we are accountable to is also invaluable. So I woke up with a big shift this morning, thinking that lockdown feels like it's coming to an end now, slowly but surely. It feels like there's been a real shift in the air, and I thought, gosh, I've just got to get accountable now and start looking after myself properly. I've been looking after myself reasonably well, but I've also been glugging quite a lot of wine with my next door neighbour, which has been great fun. But I don't think it's doing my insides much good. So I just woke up this morning and I texted my best friend and I was just like, right, these are the changes that I'm going to make. This is what I'm going to do in my body, in my eating habits. This is what I'm going to do in my business. And I text her and I made myself accountable to her. And she has replied, and she is going to make herself now accountable to me. And we're just going to just kind of like keep each other going, because sometimes you need to be accountable to someone. I mean, I really need to be accountable to someone. But making sure that I'm doing the right kind of exercise and showing up here doing these videos often enough is something that I really want to be doing. So I've said to her, I'm going to be running 5 times a week. I'm going to be doing yoga 5 times a week, and I'm going to be having doing 5 lives, and just keeping the booze just down to the weekends now, because it's it can't go on. But I want to be really showing up in my best form, and her exactly too, and our business and our social lives, our family lives, and our exercise and our spirituality, they all knock on so much that we have to be mindful of all of it. So, that's a really good example, I think, of how having positive people around you and being accountable and having people that make you feel good about yourself is so important. But for some people, it's not as easy as that. And for some people, relationships mean that they are not able to get out as much as they want to. They're not able to see their friends as much as they want to. They're not able to just generally be themselves. And I think the danger is that when you start to lose a little bit of yourself in a relationship, it just feels it feels quite uncomfortable. I mean, it's okay if you're okay with it, then it's okay. I would never tell anybody how to be, but if you feel like it's not okay and you are being stifled in any way, then that feels like something quite different. So even if the most that you can do at that time is keep in contact by text or by phone, keep that channel open with your friends, because your friends love you and want the best for you. And, as I said at the beginning, if they're good friends, will always be there for you, no matter what. If you've got a partner who's possessive, and being possessive comes out in different ways, right? Some people think possessive can be about being angry and being controlling, but it can also be about being quite needy, which is still controlling, but it's passive, and it looks different. And so when it looks different, it feels different. There's an element of guilt involved rather than fear or exhaustion, but it's equally controlling. So it's definitely something to look out for. I'm always delighted by my friends and clients who say that they are, that their partners are the ones that drop them off and pick them up in a good way, like really encourage them to go out and have a good time with their friends, and that not be a problem. That feels healthy to me. If you do feel like you're not able to get out and you are, for whatever reason, can't get out, but you're just keeping the channels open, then, just keep that conversation going as much as possible. Keep your ears out for each other. Keep listening to each other, and keep supporting each other, because that's what we all want at the end of the day, is to be listened to and supported and not judged. And that can be really difficult if people have got boyfriends or partners that are maybe not best for them. But, you know, whether this is you or whether this is your friends, I don't think being judgy and being, you know, when we're judgmental about our friends, we can risk isolating them even more. That's come up with a client that I've worked with recently. And it just means that that person didn't feel able then to reach out when she needed to reach out, because she felt like, you know, it was either going to be a finger wagging session or some sort of "I told you so," and that's not helpful. So that, you know, I'm really mindful of those kind of situations. Even though I'm quite vocal and outspoken myself, but yeah, let's not be that person. Hey, so there you go. I hope that's been helpful. I'm just going to sit here and just chat for a few minutes. I'm going to try and be doing these a lot more often. So please, you know, as I've said, I'll say in all of these videos, drop me a couple of ideas if there's anything that you want me to talk about in particular. I'm always happy to read your comments, and enjoy the rest of your day.